All right, well, let's talk about those Twins, shall we? Twins already had the series clinched yesterday afternoon after winning the first two, and most people, like myself, shut this one off early after they were down 6 runs in the 8th inning, but they rally all the way back and win 7-6 and do, in fact, sweep the Royals. A lot to catch up on after the weekend of action, Reggie. Smeltzer goes 5 innings, only allows 1 run in Game 1 victory, 6-4. Joe Ryan goes 5+ in Game 2, only allows 1 run. Twins win 9-2. And yesterday, Bailey Ober gets through 5 innings and does the same, only allows 1 run. Then the trouble started. They'd bring in Cano. He allowed 5 quick runs, only managed 1 out. But the Twins rally, as mentioned, all the way back. A monster 8th and 9th inning. Polanco, Garlick, Kepler, Sanchez, they all played big parts in that. Luis Arraez had 3 big hits. Total team effort as you saw the depth of this batting order come through in a big way. Reggie, your takeaways from yesterday's magical comeback and the weekend sweep as a whole.
So we talked about, coming into these series, like they needed to get these wins stacked up. Mm-hmm. And, maybe not expecting a sweep for every series, but like, goodness gracious, like we'll take it, right? You know what I mean? Like the Royals, I thought they'd be better than they are, but they're turning out to be not that great this year. I was looking at, I used to live in Kansas, and the Royals are their squad, even though, Kansas City is a little bit further away. Mm-hmm. And so many people, they're just like, fire everybody. I'm on Twitter. Everybody's just like, get them out of here.
Hit the reset
They're trash.
Get out of here.
Just stop it.
Yeah, and, they're no Cincinnati Reds, but they're not on a great trajectory right now.
No, but you look at their lineup and you're wondering like why they're struggling. You got Witt, you got Salvi. Those guys are great. It's just not working out. Mike Matheny went down I-70 to Kansas City, and it's just not working out. And it's like, I don't know if we attribute this win to the Royals being bad or the Twins just being that good and their resiliency to battle their way back. Maybe it's a little bit of both. I think if you're a Twins fan, I know it's the Royals, but you have to be encouraged. Anytime your team sweeps and then they go through a little bit of adversity in a Sunday game that really, they could have dropped, and it still would have meant that they would have won the series, but they lock in, come back, win 7-6. Like that says a lot about the grit of this baseball team. That says a lot about, what this team is building this season and where they could go. And that's exciting if you're a Twins fan.
We always talk about the studs, the core of this roster, Buxton, Correa, some other pieces. Mm-hmm. But again, the depth of that order really shined over the weekend, specifically in that 7-6 magical comeback yesterday as well. I was going to ask you who we should name MVP of the series, but I'm going to switch it up. Who do you think would win the team MVP right now through the first 6-7 weeks, just kind of collectively looking back? Obviously, the first two I think of, and a lot of people would mention, Joe Ryan and Byron Buxton. Even with the limited playing time, he's just so impactful to the rest of the team and lineup. I mean, we saw it last week. Buxton goes 0 for 4, but the Twins still put up 14 runs versus the A's that day. If the season were to end today, who's the most valuable player on this team?
Man, I think if you're just going like chalk, I mean, Buxton, obviously.
Yep.
Buxton. The dude is incredible when he's out there. But what's funny is he just seems to impact the game. We were watching on Friday. He was like 0 for 4. Mm-hmm. And they were just like mud stomping the Royals. And you're just like, well. But one of my guys, he was just like, look, just the fact that he's on the team, just the fact that he's in the lineup, that he's out there playing with his guys, he just seems to have that energizing factor. But you know what? If we're going outside of the box for who could be the team MVP so far, and I know he's missed some time as well, Luis Arraez.
Yes.
I'm looking at his stats right now. He has a homer, batting average 336.
He's a machine right now.
11 RBI, and the dude has 36 hits this season. Like. He's just a base hit, extra base hit machine. And I think whenever they need production from this guy, he's there to do his job. And I think it was on Sunday he batted in the go ahead run, and it's I don't know, like if you give me someone and you say, hey, you can't pick Joe Ryan,
Yeah.
you can't pick Byron Buxton. And you're just like, dang, that's not fair. And then you start looking at the stats, you're like, oh, I got a guy. Luis, it's Luis. And I think he's the guy for me that kind of is like the engine that helps make the team go.
Yeah, first of all, Byron Buxton's certainly probably the team MVP, but he's never going to be that nationally recognized in the MVP discussion with your Aaron Judges and the other superstars, because we know he misses so much time, right? I mean, those guys are going to play so many more games, but on a game-by-game basis, though, when he's in the lineup, Buxton should be in that conversation as one of the league's best. But with all the time he's missed, with all the time Carlos Correa's missed, Joe Ryan, you only see him once every 5 days or so. Luis Ariz has been really quietly the rock in the cornerstone in this lineup, night in and night out, consistently, while we've missed a lot of those other big pieces. So I like that you mentioned that. Easy to go chalk in this conversation for sure, but another name that Twins fans maybe should think about and consider when kind of just evaluating the top players on this team through the first 6-7 weeks. Twins, they're now 25-16. First place in the Central Division. Ton of buzz around them early this far this season, man. I mean, things are fun right now, Reggie. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
This has been fun so far, for sure. This changes weekly or even daily at times with injuries and just the ebbs and flows of a long season. But as we get into the thick of the summer, what worries you? What could be the one thing in your mind that drops this team back down to earth a little bit? Because pitching was always the one big concern, and now they've faced some tough injuries in the middle of the rotation. Chris Paddock lost for the season. Could prove to be costly, we know that. But for me, even the starters that are doing well are being pulled after 5 innings consistently by Rocco. That worries me as he continues to put so much pressure on the bullpen. Is that a pitch count concern for him? Is he being overly protective of his players? I mean, what's the reasoning for being so aggressive when pulling these starters while in the midst of a great outing early in the game?
I think it's longevity, because I think he, like a lot of us, to answer your question, are concerned about the longevity of this pitching staff. I think what we've seen is, Gary Sanchez is heating up. Luis Ariz is on fire, as we talked about. When Byron Buxton is in the lineup, he's effective. Carlos Correa is heating up. Like, you got all these guys. Miranda broke out of his slump, and he's heating up. Like, I think what is tough is the pitching staff. The bats have shown that they'll be there. Even when they struggle a little bit, they'll rebound and they'll be there. But what you can't really say for sure is how good this pitching staff is going to hold up over the course of the season. And, you're playing mix and match, now with losing Paddock, who, by the way, it's tough as it is, but then when that story came out about how, he could have been a Met, but the Mets doctors nixed the deal and all that, and then you see what Taylor Rogers is doing, you're just like, dang, man, imagine having a bullpen where your setup guy is Duran and your closer is Rogers, or the other way around. Like, that is some domination at the back end of your bullpen. And I think, we've seen the bullpen give up some just inexplicable performances. And, you would hope that the top end of that rotation does what they need to do with guys like Ryan, Sonny Gray, and Bundy. But, you kind of worry, Archer, he's been a little bit concerning as of late, especially. And that bullpen, Duffy is he's kind of leveled out a little bit, but early on in the season it was touch and go. It was like, man, I don't know if you could keep putting this dude out there. And I think what you're seeing from Rocco is, okay, look, we are going to put someone in there and then pull them really quick so we can just prolong them over the course of the season, because he knows that some of his starters are some of the best options on his pitching staff. And maybe later in the year, he can put those guys in for 6, 7, 8 innings because he did manage them well early on. And I think that's kind of what he's banking on.
Running out of time today's segment, but rest assured tomorrow or through the week, we got to touch on Johan Duran because he has been lights out throwing smoke. Saw a stat yesterday on Twitter from the Locked On Minnesota Twins account. Johan Duran leads the majors in relievers with just a shade over 40%, nearly 41% strikeout rate, which is just absolutely bananas. So a lot to be excited about for sure with him. It's nice to know you got one cornerstone, one pillar hanging around in the bullpen for the Twins. Twins start a 7-game homestand starting with the Tigers tonight. Chris Archer, like you said, he's on the mound tonight. First pitch, 6:40 p.m. right here in the backyard at Target Field.